So, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible and clearly visible to you all. Welcome to today's webinar by Team Homeopathy 360 in association with Hahnemann Homeo Forum. This is a webinar series of 4 days, and today is the first day of webinar. So we welcome all the participants who are with us. I think we have a lot of participants with us. More than 935 participants are with us. So I welcome each one of you for this session, and we are so glad that we have such a mass with us, and who will be with us in the next 3 hours to listen and learn what is all about live behavioral materia medica. So today we will be boosting our prescribing skills by learning live behavioral materia medica, how to explore man by observing common clinical behavioral patterns. But before we begin this session, let me welcome you and all of you to this session who all are with us. And I would like to introduce you to our platform of Homeopathy 360. So I, Dr. Yashika Arora, heartily welcome you all to one of the most updated portals for online publication of all kinds of course material for students as well as practitioners, each type of news related to homeopathy, all upcoming events worldwide, career opportunities, job vacancies, research updates, various articles from classical as well as contemporary practitioners, and each of the update related to homeopathy. We have always tried to keep it as an exceptional education hub for each generation of homeopaths by organizing each and every single information related to homeopathy and make it universally accessible, making sure that we are the best at what we do. So I would like to request each one of you to visit our website www.homeopathy360.com for all the updates. Plus, I would also like to request and invite all the esteemed homeopaths who are with us right now to contribute your knowledge, your expertise, your core area of expertise for the website as well as the fraternity. We would welcome you and your articles and all your case papers, research papers for publication so that we can take homeopathy to a new level, to greater heights. For that, you can mail us at yashika@homeopathy360.com for submission of articles, as well as you can submit it on website as well. So I welcome everyone. Today we have Hahnemann Homeo Forum with us. This is the day one of our series. So I would like to introduce HHF also for the to all the participants. I hope everybody who is today with us already know about HHF. It's an HHF is an institution and home to every homeopath where you can grow together. HHF believes in working, supporting, and prospering together, and they encourage, educate both the immature and practicing homeopaths with a lot of love and care to make the medical practice more flourished. They hold very regular communicative academic sessions, seminars for students as well as practitioners. The modus operandi of HHF is interpersonal relationship. For example, if you see a patient of RA, when he comes to you, one needs to perceive with all their senses whether his concern is his disease or his frustration to do daily activities with the support of others. So I think we will get to learn today a lot about what is HHF, what is interpersonal relationship, what is materia medica all about, and how to study materia medica, how to judge people, how to judge the remedy by knowing the uh, behavior of the person, a patient, in a case in hand. So I think we should be excited today for this series. Before we begin the series and I introduce you to the speakers, I have a good news for all of you. So we have also a series coming from Monday. Homeopathy 360 is starting a new series of homeopathic learning series, which has the best of the faculty from all over the country. We have expert teachers from various colleges. We'll be starting this homeopathic learning series from 8th of June, that is Monday, wherein you can visit the website for the same. I will provide you the link. This webinar series is aims to make you competent in Hahnemannian homeopathy and refresh your mind with the most interactive sessions. Experienced faculty would be there who will guide you the necessary knowledge, the core essence of homeopathy, and they'll be providing you homeopathic training with a solid foundation in in principles of pure homeopathy and how to integrate them into practice. So I will be covering all the subjects like organon of medicine, materia medica, repertory, practice of medicine, and many other uh, aspects related to each and every homeopathic principle. So I would like to request you all to register for the same if you want to learn. So I'll just post the link of the page wherein you can register for the webinar series. And I would like to welcome our both the speakers today, who will be discussing on various aspects like man and disease by a cured video case of coma. They'll be discussing on the definition of man by various stalwarts. They'll be discussing on infertility case as well and COVID-19 and many other things which we'll get to learn in the next 3 hours. How is disease related and how you can judge the remedy, how you can study materia medica. So we have one of the two of the best speakers from HHF today, Dr. Mayur Mahajan sir and Dr. Alok Kumar sir. I would like to introduce them today for the webinar series, and I welcome them on behalf of whole team Homeopathy 360 and BGen Group. So I would like to call Dr. Mayur Mahajan sir, who is a practitioner from Thane, Mumbai. He's among the finest homeopathic doctors in the city, and he's known for offering excellent patient care, as well as he's one of the best HHF. He's you can say he's also a keystone in the bridge called HHF. So he'll be sharing that knowledge with us. He's an excellent clinician, a popular lecturer at local as well as national as well as international seminars. So I welcome him, as well as Dr. Alok Kumar sir, who is again a homeopathic consultant at All Is Well HHF. He's been offering worldwide medical services since past 20 years, and also a practitioner from Belgium. He has been back from Belgium in 2011. He offers treatment using modern techniques for resolving the psychological and interpersonal problems of patients, and provide them quick responsive homeopathic treatment. So we'll get to learn a lot from both of them. Without wasting any more time, I would like to invite both the speakers today with us, and everybody is excited to listen to you all, sir. We have around 1200 people with us. So let's begin. Over to you. Now I am done. You guys, it's over to you, both of you. Sir, your audio is off. Please open your audio.
Now, is it audible?
Yeah, it's audible. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. First
Welcome.
of all, sorry for this delay. As usual, this technical problems. Acha, I'm Dr. Mayur Mahajan, and I welcome you all in this beautiful series of Homeopathy 360. I would like to thank Manish, my dear friend. Thank you for arranging this wonderful webinar here. And Jaspal there. Is he there? Acha, he must be there. Jaspal, thank you again for okay, for just arranging everything for us. And before I forget, I would like to thank my dear students, Dr. P, Dr. Bhanu, Dr. Bhageshri, for making those videos. Subtitling and editing is a bit tedious job. I would like to thank you all. And of course, Dr. Join. See, these are doctors. It's because I am the main speaker, but the work behind it is should be appreciated by all. So I'm taking Dr. Join's name also. Tomorrow I'll be showing you a case which has been edited by Dr. Join. Yeah, and yes, now I'll start the session. First of all, I'm honored and privileged to be a part of this beautiful webinar series. And before I start this session, I know there are so many physicians. I won't take the name as a doctor because When we take a physician, homeopathy, Hanuman sir used to talk about physician and not a doctor, because a physician is, sensitive. The more the intelligence, the more the prejudice. So the homeopathic physicians all over here in front of me, I welcome you all. Thank you all for your love, blessings, my HFians. Yes, I'm virtually in front of you again. So see, to start with, before I start with this session, the man in the disease. A man in the disease is a very interesting topic, first of all. And just I would like to tell you something about homeopathy. Sorry, homeopathy means everyone is a homeopath, but what I feel from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to share you. See, homeopathy is just not a science, it is something above science. And for that, if you want to be a successful prescriber, my dear friends, basically this is for the ones who are budding, who have started the clinics just about 1 or 2 years, 4 years, 3 years. See, if you want to prosper in homeopathy, in prescription I'm talking about, say prescriptions, because materialistic things, homeopathy and it has a different story. But if you want to be a best prescriber, what are the qualities you should have within? Is number one is that passion. Be a learner. Be a learner. Always be a learner. See, there is always, see, these electronics, we have upgradations, updates. So be a learner. And this strong passion to understand. You take any legend of homeopathy. You take any legend of homeopathy. I won't take anyone's name, because if I will miss one name, I would feel myself guilty. So take any legend, legendary homeopath. See the way they feel homeopathy. See the way they treat homeopathy. The passion, that interest, that zeal, that energy, that passion should be amongst ourselves. If you want to be a good prescriber, number one. Second, that faith in our science, faith in, yes, I can do it, I will do it, I must do it. This faith is very important, my dear friends. This faith you should carry not only with our science, but at the same time, this faith should be here from within. Because, and you will be wondering what this Mayur is talking about, spirituality and this philosophy. I would like to tell you one thing, my dear friends. This is the science as well as an art which has the word vital force, which itself is spiritual. The spiritual dynamic force, the soul. We are treating the soul and not the part. So, for that matter, we need to be that spiritual, that philosophical. So, that sensitivity should be there from within. We see the vital force. We cannot measure it. Yeah, we cannot find. See, this is the vital force. No, it is subtle. So when you talk about subtleness, you talk about spirituality. You talk about purity, divinity. See, we worship homeopathy. In HHF, we worship homeopathy. Means that godliness should be there in homeopathy. If you want to be a wonderful prescriber, perfectionist in prescription, that godliness, you should have that godliness from within for prescription. Because without that, see, this prescription will be incomplete. All right. So the man in the disease is a wonderful topic we have chosen. What is this man all about? The man in the disease. What is this man? This, see, our mentor, of course, Dr. Milind Rao, had imbibed this man within us. So whenever there is a patient in front of us, we try to find out the man in the disease, not the part of the disease. If at all is suffering from this little finger pain with swelling, with stiffness, so we try to just, it's not that we ignore this little finger, but at the same time, we try to find out the man in the disease. Because eventually what happens is, eventually what will happen is, I'll tell you, we will be just posting some slides, me and Alok together with posting some slides. The slide show where we will try to understand what is this man all about. Yeah? What is this man? What is this man all about? And this is very interesting. Okay, so I made some understanding of this man in the disease. So first, am I audible, right? Awas barobar hai? See, this man now, what is this aim and objective of this webinar? What is the main goal? What is the motto of this webinar? See, when we take a case, whenever there is a case in front of you, suffering from any ailment you take, from head to you take any ailment, the case is in front of you. 100% the patient will speak about the peculiarity, the PQRS of the symptoms in the man that we are. So there are so many cases now. When we take a case, okay, we start taking a case, we take the chief complaint, the sensation, modalities, concomitants, thirst, everything, right? The miasmatic approach of the case, everything we take, and sometimes we give a prescription. This is what had happened to me also. And then while prescribing, we feel that there is something missing. Hello, isn't it so? We feel something is missing. And this, what is the missing part of the case, is the main motto of this man in the disease. What is that which we tend to miss? What is that? We of course we miss sometimes. We have a half-hearted prescription. I hope everyone in this, the one who is watching this or viewing this webinar, must have gone through this half-hearted prescription. Sometimes you feel the remedy after repetition or everything, it's coming to be carcinosin, but my heart is not allowing me to prescribe carcinosin. Sometimes it happens, my dear friends. So here, this man in the disease will be amazingly significant. I'll tell you the way. See, we have made a series with such episodes, which one episode will be linked with the second, the third, the fourth. So this, stay tuned with us. The through and through there will be a link. So now I will be showing you a case of coma. You must be wondering na ki are first case and directly coma. No, it's not our boasting. We are not about, it's not about boasting ourselves. It's very interesting na. The patient is suffering from a deadly dead end pathology. The patient is not able to see anything. The patient is not able to grasp anything. The patient is not able to feel anything. But at the same time, we have to understand the man in the disease. So am I audible? I am not. The camera is gone. So okay, it's acha Ale. Dekha Alok. So the man, the disease is very important. Why I am telling you this, I'll tell you. See, there is a hall and the capacity of the hall is 100. Okay. And I'm a hardcore fan of Michael Jackson. And there are 100 people in this hall. And I want to search Michael Jackson here. And I know his qualities, inbuilt qualities. I know his in and out of this personality, Michael Jackson. And I'm finding Michael Jackson in 100 people. So how will you understand? Ow! Sorry. See, this is how we understand homeopathy. We enjoy homeopathy. We learn homeopathy. We enjoy homeopathy. So this, ow! This is the signature of Michael Jackson. So in these series, in these whole episodes, we'll be understanding the signatures of each and every remedy, which will be, demonstrating to you with the help of some video cases, with help of verbatims. So we'll understand the man in the disease, the signature of Varatram album, how Varatram album can behave in a clinic, what is calcarea iode, what is this calcarea, what is natrum phos. So these are the remedies which will be telling you, just sharing you the signature. This is the signature of this remedy, the stamp. So this is how we understand. So so this is how we understand the man in the disease. So now, whenever we take a case in front, the patient is in front of us, 100%, I tell you, 100%, the patient will give you some or the other vital information. It is we, the homeopath, who misses it. Hence, homeopathy is absolutely perfect in all senses, with the modalities, with the concomitants, with thirst, sides, miasms, everything. But one, that single thing, sometimes we tend to miss, I won't tell you, I may miss, is this observation. I'll tell you the case. First of all, I'll information of this case. A 23-year-old boy riding a bicycle. There was some oil spilled on the road and he slipped on and he had a tremendous head injury and he was hospitalized. The day he was hospitalized, he was in coma. And the physicians, neurophysicians, and everyone had, done every possible thing for the recovery. But unfortunately, he didn't recover at all. He was like a vegetable for more than not 2 days, more than not 2 weeks, more than 2 months. He was on bed in the hospital. He was on bed. He was in coma, and the physicians ultimately surrendered with this. Ultimately, they gave it. Now everything is up to the Almighty. Okay, this was the case. So this Almighty us should be homeopathy, my dear friends. We should be that confident with our science. We should, homeopathy, yeah, come on, homeopathy can do this. No, it's not like that. Homeopathy can do anything. Homeopathy can cure anything on this world. The only thing is the host should be feeling that confidence within himself, or this homeopath should be that confident, or this homeopath should be that faith, having that faith in him as in the science. And this case I would like to share with you all. It was so amazing case. It's around 10-11 years back ka case I'm talking about. And this 10 years back case, why? Because it was as simple as a cakewalk case for us, for any one of amongst us. But the pathology was bad. The pathology dreadful. See, the motto of this webinar is that every single homeopathic physician should be that rock solid confident that yes, I can do it. I can just do it. This is the only motto of this seminar, making this homeopathic science and art and philosophy and spirituality very, very applicable, very replicable, and the most important thing is this simplicity. Our master used to tell us, Milind Rao sir used to tell us, that the most difficult thing in life, the most difficult thing in life is to make things simple. If you are able to make things simple, you are doing the best job on this earth. See, hence I already said, intellectuals, the more intelligent is not the quality of a homeopathic physician. Sorry, if I'm a her who is intelligent, I'm not that intelligent, but so I have that I have that privilege to tell that.
Sir, your audio.
The person,
Yeah.
it's not calculation, it's not logarithms, it's not 9 into 9 into 9 into 9. No, it's not like that, because the vital force wherein we deal with the patients, we deal with vital force in homeopathy. That homeopathy is not calculation, that is dynamic, that is, you cannot measure it, you have to feel here. So the half-hearted prescriptions after 4 days of series, if our homeopathic, my dear friends, my seniors, they are all very well to do, but my juniors, my budding homeopaths, if you have that capacity, that if you have achieved that easiness, that simplicity to prescribe homeopathy with confidence, then here HHF will be happy, the most happiest organization here, because I am not Mayur Mahajan, I am HHF, I am speaking I'm speaking on behalf of HHF. And here there are so many HHFians who are so they can treat any given disease, but still we are grounded. Why? Because I tell you one thing: if you can cure, I'm showing the case of coma over here, but we should be always grounded, because one coryza also there may be a time that you cannot cure one coryza also. So we are the learners till the end. We are learning, we will learn, we are exploring ourselves, we are upgrading ourselves, we are just learning. And this is so beautiful. If you try to feel yourself that you are a learner and you still to learn so many things in homeopathy, then he is the best homeopath, I would say. So I'm considering myself a learner. Please let us consider that we are learners and start understanding a case. So, SKD, shall I proceed with the case, or is it? Do you need some time? So it is a case of. अरे ये तो I am not showing the whole case. Why? Because that won't be sufficient enough, and we'll just we are a. Huh? झालं? Okay na. So pause. I would like to tell you something. See, 10 years back, it's around 2009 ka case, and we were just allowed to visit the person. We were not allowed to record the case. So whatever recording is there, it is recorded by the this webcam on the laptop. Okay. So we were and I am the most sorry, I'm the most manipulative person. I said the authorities that I wanted to see the repertory, and I just opened up the laptop because they were not allowing us to record. So I opened up the laptop and started recording. See, and when all are my colleagues over here, and we are trying to understand the case at the small tender age of 35, 36. I was 36 that time. And why I'm showing you this case? Because I want each and every one to cure at least one case like this. So the basic motto and intention is to understand the man in the disease. Okay. So this was the case of head injury, and the case is in front of you. Please play. Pause. Now see, this is the case. His name is Nitin, and he has allowed us. Thank you, Nitin, for allowing us to show this case. If you are watching this, and his name is Nitin, and we are calling Nitin. See, when we see a case, we are just everybody out there, Nitin, and Nitin was like, means there was no effect whatsoever on his face, on his body language, on his gestures, on his reflections, on his reflexes, in his anything. There was no. Now, how to find the man in the disease? Now, this is very interesting. How? So, see, this is very important. See, Milind Rao was a man who used to always tell us that when you take a case, this doctor's degree, this stethoscope, just put it aside and try to find out, try to understand the man in the disease in a layman's vision, in a terms of layman, how a normal man will understand this person who is here. So I was wondering, more than 2 months he's on bed like this. I like this. Okay. And Nitin, nothing is going on. In spite of all adverse circumstances, all negativity, there was nothing positive in his reports. Day by day, he was going from bad to worse, critically ill patient, nothing to have in front of him. And this, now this is the man in the disease. But his heart was still pumping. In spite of all odds, in spite of all reflexes, zero reflexes, his heart was pumping. So this is the man in the disease. That means I thought from within that this man must be having a very strong willpower. Do you agree? Because there are so many old people who land into coma and they'll also, but the old people, there is some or the other good, at least some signs which are positive. There is no positive sign. 24-year-old child, young man on the deathbed for so many time, so many months together. So I asked him one good question, $1 million question. I am not giving this credit to myself. It's the credit of my love towards homeopathy, the faith. This question I didn't thought of. Am I audible? I didn't thought of whether this is a good question or not. Whatever I felt from within was out. But one question was, Rao sir used to tell me that, this is a tip for you, my dear friend. This is an amazing tip for you all, that whenever a patient is at the deathbed, whenever a patient has lost all his senses, whenever the patient is having that loss of perceptions, strongly unconscious, absolutely unconscious, at the deathbed, one thing is for sure. One thing is for sure, and this is very interesting, I'll tell you. And this is the audio of the person, or the auditory channel of the person is well aware till the end of his life. So whenever you have I would like to give a tip. This is out of the box I'm talking about. Whenever there is a patient at anyone, where at your home, at your relatives, and he's on the deathbed and he's counting his days, I would plead you all that say something good, that this man has done so many good things in our life. He was the best father in our he was the best father, I would say, I heard seen in my life. He was the best mother, she was the best mother I would ever seen in my life. So this words directly pierces inside. This is how we have to understand a man. The patient here is in coma, and still there is one ray of hope within himself. Doctor, but he has not given up. This is the man in the disease. Now you don't check the reflexes, the knee reflexes, this plantar reflexes. Don't do that. What time? What has gone wrong here? What is the deviated state? What is the peculiar state that he has still that fighting capacity from within? So the fighting capacity is still there in that soul. That means that fighting capacity is in the vital force. We have to treat that. We have to push fighting capacity a bit up, so that the whole body will take care of itself, isn't it? So इसके लिए 2 पर्यंत प्ले कर, 2 से 2 पर्यंत, तू नहीं स्टार्ट कर, 2 नहीं, स्टॉप ना. बस प्ले नाही, प्ले कर. वी वर फाइंडिंग, हे आवाज ऑफ कर, ह्याचा. We are trying to find out, at least we get some or the other thing to prescribe, but unfortunately we're not getting anything. My friend Dr. Nikhil Khedekar is there at a right side, and he's trying to ask something. I was here, something, some or the, now see the reflexes. Nikhil is taking the reflexes, that it has got no reflexes at all. Zero reflex. the brain dead situation, absolutely brain dead situation. Got it? So now, so now I pause. Now enough is enough. I thought enough is enough. I asked the elder sister of the patient to ask one question, and the question was, ask the patient, shriek into the ear, because we had that last hope that some sensitive question will give some reactions. है ना? In spite of us calling him by his name, Nitin was not aware. Nitin was just like this. But when I asked the sister to pierce in his ears that, will you recover? I asked her to ask a question, will you recover? And see, now play. Pause. When I asked this question, the pulse rate increase 100. Hello. See, this is the body language of the patient. This is the man in the disease. When I gave him that pause, he was the only one who was fighting against the disease. The doctor had given up, and I asked one question, a big question mark, and the ball was in his court now. Ask such questions to the patient, so the ball is in the patient's court. Don't ask such questions which are, direct questions. No, I asked a simple question, will you recover? And the pulse rate increased. What was that mean? Heart was beating up and down. Yes. Again, I tried to ask him this question, will you recover? Play again. The pulse rate increased. Yes. What did she? What was the reply? See, you look into my eyes. When you fall in love, my dear friends, love is reflected in your eyes. So your eyes are very important. These are the number one gestures. If you'll ask any question to the person, are you happy with your wife? Ask this question to your patients and see the different answers. No, I won't enact those answers. Sorry. Are you happy with your wife? Yes. That means is not. Okay. So sorry. I'm running about the topics right now. See what happened. This is a very important and a very important, significant question. I asked him whether you'll recover, and his eyes were like this, and he said, "Now he doesn't have his tongue to say yes. There is no hands gestures. Yes, I will do it. Yes, you know." But his eyelids were like this, and then he said, "Miss, that was the signal given by the patient that means yes, I will be all right." Now this is the man in the disease. $1 million question, and the answer is yes. When in spite of all adverse circumstances, all negativities, everyone is saying that now I'm giving up, everything is lost, and you are telling me, the patient in front of me is saying, yes, I will. This strength. Okay, now once we got, now the whole video I won't show you, I'll just tell you. If you want, you can see some gestures in this video. Socho. Milind Rao's mantra. Socho. Think. Pause kare zara. See, if you are not getting a case, think. Just think. try to understand this man in the disease. Okay, what is his profession? What we will be coming, and we'll be just following all the slides later on. So beautifully, our stalwarts or orthodox prescribers have said there. See the man, see the home, see the domestic, see the social. Everything will come after. Now Alok will come later on, and this man is saying yes. The way he just blinked his eyes positively, we are so happy. We're so happy in spite of all negativity. This man is positive. First rubric was positiveness. Isn't it? First rubric was positive. Shall I put the repertory chart over here? I can. Achha. The first rubric was positive. Second was, he was, isn't it a fighter? When everyone was telling he have given up, he was the one who is fighting against the disease. In spite of all odd situations, he is the fighter. We have a rubric, fight wants to be. Now this fight wants to be, you can apply here also, or else you can apply in a person who is giving a IS examination, and in spite of 6 attempts he's not giving up, he's still fighting. Everybody is telling don't give up, and this man is not giving up. This is the rubric fight wants to be. Who doesn't want to lose? Who doesn't give up? Who doesn't surrender? Who doesn't yield to any situation? This is the man in the disease. We have come across so many cases wherein the person goes into state of diabetes, whatever, and he's not able to find out his own goal, his ambition, but he still is not giving up. This is that perseverance. The spider or the ant who goes on the wall, just try to find out that's a spider, or the ant goes out, falls n number of times, but doesn't give up. This was the phrase which came into my mind when I was seeing this man in the disease. Fighter, the fight wants to. We have a rubric, perseverance. We have a rubric, positive. And the best part was, whenever we started asking n number of questions, Nitin, what was his reaction? What was the reaction from the vital force? What was the reaction from his inner force? He just tilted his neck towards the opposite side. Not totally like this, but he was not, we could see that unhappiness. He was not comfortable with our questions. We were bombarding questions one after the other. Wrong, it was wrong, accepted. But still, it's an experience. Whatever you do wrong in your prescriptions, my dear friends, budding homeopaths, if you do something wrong in your prescriptions, wrong, don't say the word wrong. It is not allowed in homeopathy. It is experience. It is experience. So we had, but we bombarded. We got that sensitive. We got that passionate to cure this patient. Yeah, well, Nitin. And Nitin was like, he just tilted his neck towards the opposite side. That gave us an understanding that he didn't want to get disturbed. Fourth rubric was disturbed, averse to being. He didn't want to he wanted to take his own, lie on his own, be in his own. And these bombarding questions were not at all he was comfortable with. So he just tilted his neck like this. And to my surprise, Nux vomica was the remedy. Yes. And I tell you, 1 dose of Nux vomica, 6. 1 dose. And the next follow, please. As soon as we gave the dose of Nux vomica, what happened was, hello, he got fever. And then the physicians over there who were in taking the case of this Nitin started giving antipyretic, and I was there to tell them, now you have given up, please, I requested them, please leave it to me. We will do whatever you want because you have already given up now. Please, thank you very much. And my good luck and Nitin's good luck, they allowed us and said, whatever you do, you do. Now it was fever is a good reaction in all dead end cases. One more tip: if you are dealing a case of dead end pathological cases, and if you give a dose, and if there is fever, good, body is reacting, the vitality is increased. The man in the disease is awakened. Okay. Now again, that chori chupke, we are just managing the authorities of the hospital, and my laptop was already open, my webcam was open, and I started to see the follow play. See the eyes. I just tell. The eyes were dead, and now see the eyes. You have to understand if your remedy is right or wrong. It indicates in your eyes, my dear friends, or in your face. There is a grace in your face. The homeopathic grace. See the eyes play. Reflexes were still no zero. But see the eyes. We have hit the right target. See the eyes. Yes. He has moved his neck, looking towards me. Player. See, there is life in his eyes. Play. Yes. See now. See, can you see the change? This is homeopathy. Everyone in this fat fraternity who has that immense passion and faith to amongst himself and in this science of homeopathy, you can do it. We can do it. Everyone can do it. This is just see this. See the hold. See the hold of his hand. Next slide. Next video, please. So I was still now see like एक मिनट video पाठव please. ना second video परत play. तिकडनं चालू कर जिकडनं प्ले केलेलं ते. Now pause. See, again we start asking him questions, and he again tilted his neck towards the opposite side. That means still that disturbed averse to being was still on. The language of vital force was still there. So Nux Somika 6 potency was not enough. This is what we concluded with this case. And we gave a dose of Nux Somika 30. And then see the follow. He was shifted from ICU to normal ward, general ward. His tracheostomy was done. His everything was removed. Again, homeopathy, thank you very much. God, thank you very much. And see, this is the case. And here we'll see our beloved master, Dr. Milindra, who said, Kutikala master. थोडं मागे गेले मिस्टर अवसराचा फोटो थोडं हो सर master. This is my our guru Rupesh also there. Okay, yes. And this master who is standing behind me, a rock solid man behind me, the mentor, the pillar of HHF, who founded this HHF. He was the one who said, Mayur, yaar, we have done it. And he said, again you give a dose of Nux Somika 200. Why? So I was really wondering, sir, he's going on well. So why to? So no, Mayur, you. Why? Because the way he was, the plasters and the dressing was made, he was not comfortable with this plaster, which was a bit odd, like obliquely it was applied, and he was not he told the physician, the attendant, I want to be straight. Still that peculiarity, the extra peculiarity, the rareness was there. Nux Somika 200. And we gave of Nux Somika 200 because the way we have prescribed, the Nux Somika personality was there in and out continuously. We had to break it. He gave a dose of Nux Somika. We gave a dose of Nux 200 and see the follow-up is absolutely fine. Out. Play. Band kar. Master ji jai ho. Next video. This is the one. I asked him for the shall I show this case? This is 8-9 years back ka case. Now last follow up. After 7 pass kar, band kar. Yes, I have already taken this guy. This is here given. Now pause. I would like to tell you. After 7-8 years, he was married with a child with him, and he came here and said, "Doctor, have you recognized me?" Milo, yeah, I was a bit, skeptical whether I should say yes or no. I said, "First, yes, I recognize you." He asked me then who am I? Then I was like, who? Arey, yaar, but I was bold. So he said, now you tell me. He showed that mark, which was the tracheostomy mark on his neck. Play. Then I said, Arey, coma. This is the case. This is the case. And Jayant was sitting beside me. बस चल थँक्स बरं होणार का आकाश Pause. What was the cause of coming at my clinic? Do you know that Naksumika patient? He said, I wanted to see that video of mine. Who will dare to see that video? And passed on, forget it. I want to see and I want to show everyone what I was 9 years back and how am I right now. And he's going to post this video in his Facebook page that I am this. This is Naks Bhumika. This is the man in the disease. Now, upon Alok, see, now we will, have a rally of, cases. I would tell a case, then Alok will tell a case. So we'll have a rally and we'll just tell them, show everyone how we understand the man in the disease, the peculiarity of this disease, the exact filling of the remedy, the exact deviation of the case, the exact how of the patient, what is going wrong in this case. This is what we'll be sharing you now. So I welcome Alok. And Alok, he has done an amazing slide work, and you just understand the slides, see how to understand the man in the disease. It's really very interesting, really very amazing, the journey. And I would like to tell you one more thing. This webinar series, the episodes will be, connected, interlinked between one and another. So don't, if at all, it's a big task to, sit at one place for 3 long hours at the exact V hours of your, not V hours, the most lucrative hours of your clinical times. But still, you can see it later on also. But see how we connect the man in the disease. All right. So Alok, I want you. So the social distancing will be on now. Hmm. Shall I remove this? I think you should come. I should. Okay. So, Alok, I welcome you. Please. Chama, तुमच्या मला अडकून ठेवतो का
All right. So I'll take my face mask out. Where's my paper? Yeah. So, hello dear all. I hope I am audible and visible. Am I audible? Is it good? Okay, so keep this up. So, man in disease is the topic today, and many times we ask, what is this man in disease in our clinics? I have a few hints for you today here. I'm sure that you can get them right away. How many of you sitting in the clinic feel when the patient enters many adjectives come in your heart, in your perception. I'll tell you what. Sometimes you say yes. Sometimes you say wow, looking at the patient. Because every patient carries a particular sort of energy, a type of energy, and that is to be perceived by you. And your heart is perceiving it without knowing. And that is the layman inside you. So, how do you understand your friend? So, the patient enters, you say sometimes wow, without saying, it's not verbal. Inside you feel wow. Sometimes you say shit. Sometimes you say wow, this lady could be my mother, or this lady could be my girlfriend. You see, this is you talking to yourself. That is the man. That is the layman talking in you. But it is not written in the case taking format that uh, that's what you're going to feel. Sometimes you say, my God, what a man. He's so much in trouble, but still he can bear so much, as in the case of Dr. Mayur saw. So this is the man inside of that patient, and you as a layman are perceiving these things subconsciously, and perhaps you might not convert into the rubric, but you are feeling it. The real homeopath, as a layman, is there inside you. What we need to do is just convert it into the rubric, understand the man, and prescribe it. So many times it happens that the patient enters, and one of the very commonest mistake that we do in our clinic is that when he enters, we are busy with our paper and pen. Name, age, sex, X, Y, Z. Bataiye, what is your problem? Meanwhile, the Ramayana and Mahabharata is already over. If you didn't perceive at that time, it's already over. So the first 10-15 seconds of thinking are very, very important, because at that time, patient's vital force, patient's subconscious mind, patient's face, patient's gestures are expressed in front of you. And he's telling you, he's giving you his case. But perhaps we were never trained in that way. So for example, if somebody suffers from headache, say three or four patients of headache, you ask what is happening. One says headache. One way of saying it. Another says headache. The third one says migraine and backache. You see, three people talking in a completely different way. So that's the vital energy, that is the vital force, that is the subconscious mind, that is the way a person has individualized already himself by saying, how is this headache troubling him? You see, so we'll start with the slide. Can you come to the PPT? PPT is on. So go to the first slide. So here is the first slide. So everyone have a look on this slide and think, what can you see in this slide? It's a very interesting slide. I'll tell you why. So I give you 10 seconds. Have an interpretation. What do you see in this slide? Not only see, look. I'll read it for you. What is hardest of all? That which seems most simple to see with your eyes. What is before your eyes? And there is a lamp, and there is sun behind. So interestingly, what happened when I was going to make this presentation, I asked him to 3 or 4 of my colleagues, and they gave many philosophical answers which were correct according to them. But when I asked the same slide to my wife, she explained me exactly what was in this slide. So she said that this is about homeopathy. There is sunlight and there is this light in the lamp. So that's what happens in homeopathy. You like the same symptoms. You treat the patients with the same medicine which produces the same symptom. And why did it happen? Because she is a layman. She does not understand much about homeopathy. She is not wearing an apron, and she didn't interpret it in a very highly some philosophical way. She just understood the slide as a layman. So that's the importance of being a layman, that you can understand the patient right in front of you, who is giving you this, but you are not able to perceive it because perhaps we are trained as a medical doctor, which is very, very important. But in homeopathy, medical doctors go a bit on the side. First, you take the patient as a layman, try to understand him as you understand him as your friend. Then you will come to conclude something very, very good for homeopathy. We come to the second slide. So here it is. Let's see what Ken Sahab has said about it. You can read it yourself, and I'll for yourself. Our remedies have been recorded in simple language to a great extent, and this simple language is often better observed by simple-minded, uncultivated people than among the aristocrats. I don't need to read it second time. But what clinical? I would say that patient does not come to you and says that, doctor, I'm suffering from fourth grade piles. I'm not suffering. I'm suffering from fourth grade hemorrhoids, and they are external hemorrhoids, and I cannot push them. And the veins there are bulged up. Don't talk in that way. They talk in a very, very simple way, and that we need to understand. It's given in the provings also. So the feelings, the lines written in the provings are directly coming from the layman, and that's what we need to understand. So that's what Ken Saab has already indicated, that you have to understand them more as a layman, later as a doctor. When you conclude something, you use your doctor's mind, but first you perceive them as a layman. Okay, so we come to the second slide now. Second slide now. So here it is, that why is the man, or why is the mind of a patient so important to understand? Why is it so important? So we will come to know with the teachings of the stalwarts what they have spoken about the importance of mind in the organon, and what Kent or Sir Boger has spoken about. So we shall see in the coming slides, along with the clinical examples. So whatever we will quote will be coming from our clinics. So all examples will be quoted with the aphorisms. We go to the next slide, please. So that's what our master Dr. Milindra told us. Try to perceive the patient as a layman. Only then you as a doctor, then you as a doctor will understand the dynamics of a patient. So I tried to explain you, and Dr. Mayur also tried to explain you, that it is so important to understand him as a layman and not technical terminology, because technical terminology is good for diagnosis but not for the homeopathic prescription. Pathology and such technical terms can help us for some medical conditions, but not in the prescription. We go to the next slide. Yeah, so here it is, behavioral materia medica with clinical examples. Go ahead. Yeah, so first, one of the most important slides, which is described in Organon of Medicine by Hahnemann sir. I will read the main lines. You don't need to read everything. So we shall therefore never be able to cure conformably. This line, never be able to cure conformably, if we do not, in every case of disease, observe symptoms, those relating to the changes in the state of mind and disposition. I hope you got it, because I read it very slowly. We go to the second slide. Aphorism 10. What we are called for, what is expected from us as a physician. Read it here. We are called on to cure the state of the patient's disposition. That is to be particularly noted along with the totality of the symptoms. You have a totality of the symptoms, but what you need to observe and emphasize is the patient's disposition. That's what Hanuman sir has spoken about. Can we go to the next slide? Aphorism 217. Indeed, particularly and of the peculiar and always predominating state of the mind and disposition is required in for the purpose of extinguishing the entire disease. We are here not to relieve the disease, to extinguish it. You want to obliterate the disease. For that, you need to focus upon the predominating state of the mind and disposition, which patients speak right away in the clinic. We don't need to, we don't need to poke them for that. They come with that vital energy. They come with that energy, and you feel it as a layman. We go to the next slide, please. Now you see, Keshav has spoken a very important thing. By thus centralizing on a part of the body, you fail to grasp Hanuman's thought, which is essential to the existence of homeopathy. It's a very, very big quote by Cancer. We have to read it once again. By thus centralizing on a part of the body, you fail to grasp Hanuman's thought, which is essential to the existence of homeopathy. So today we are going to present a few cases of piles, and we will see the reaction or the man. In every case is different. So if we focus only on pile, or say only on head, or only on a particular organ, we are missing the essential of the existence of homeopathy. So it's a big thing what he has said. Okay, so we go to the next slide. Then what is the basis of prescription? As Dr. Hanuman has said, morbid changes of the mind are the basis of the prescription. Full stop. Any remedy not in this group cannot cure. Relief, yes. Cure, no. Relief, yes. Cure, no. Morbid changes of the mind are the basis of the prescription. It is a bold statement. We go ahead further. The study of man as to his nature, as to his life, as to his affections underlies the true state of homeopathics. I don't need to elaborate it because it is a very simple English, and that's what we had been explaining until now. Go ahead. Take first things first. I will not read everything, but here, find the remedy for the patient and it will cure him. That means find the remedy for the man. Check out whether he wants to fight, whether he is positive, and it will cure him. Doesn't matter whether he has coma, piles, or heart attack, or indigestion, or constipation. And the particulars will disappear, though none of them were in that remedy. I think it is very clear. Go ahead. But the question comes, how to perceive that man? Can you take the photo up a bit? I'm sure that your state is also like this, standing in front of in front of the patient. I mean, you're not acting, but inside that goes, what is he speaking? How to elicit his symptoms? What is he telling me? So homeopathy is more art than science. That's what I wanted to emphasize. So science is, coma, the features of coma, piles, external, internal piles, fine. But now starts the work of a homeopathic artist or the layman. And that's what we are going to elaborate and explain and discuss and explain you in this series, 5 days lecture. And I'm sure that you will love it. Go ahead. Okay. Will of man. Will is the most internal thing. So here I like to read this thing for in Kent's lesson writing. Wonderfully he has written, a faithful noble wife has no fault to find with her husband, but finds herself with an aversion to him. This is a symptom of the innermost of man. It is not on a par the skin and the toenails. Whatever is happening in the skin and the toenails might not be important, but what is the important? That she's having an aversion to her husband. I'll tell you a case. What happened in a lady enters in the clinic, and she had piles, and she was having a dysmenorrhea and many complaints. The important thing, that lady was very outspoken, and she comes and in a very bubbly way, in a very energetic way, tells that she has a problem with piles and it's painful, it's bleeding, and I have painful menses and all and everything. And the funniest part comes now. So what is happening in your life? Is there some tension in your life? Something going bad? Something is affecting you? She says, yes, of course, yes, there is something wrong in my life. I said, what? What is happening? She was married, looking looking very beautiful, having lipstick and here nail polish on. She says that, doctor, what is the use of getting married if your husband does not take you to cinema? What is the use of marrying if your husband does not talk to you nicely? My husband is a very cold man, Now tell me, doctor, what should a husband be like? She asked me, and I was looking down. What I'm also husband, and what is she going to say? So it was a very confronting situation, and I was thinking, what should I tell her? So when the conversation is on like this, that patient has a particular energy. You also get merged with that energy, and you also play with the patient. You also start behaving the same way as patients. So I also said, you tell me, how should be the patient? How should be the husband? So she says, the husband should be a person who should be very warm. He should hug you. He should cuddle you, and he should take you for movie, cinema, and restaurant. You know that we didn't go to the restaurant for the past 2 years since we are married. That's not how should it be? No, this is a typical lachesis behavior. Lachesis is very frivolous. Lachesis can be upfront and very friendly with anybody, and giving very good reasons. And you think, yes, that's true, that if a husband does not take his wife for a restaurant, I mean, there is something wrong. So she was given lachesis. So this is the innermost of man. She wanted amusement. She wants to go out. She wants to have fun in the life. But husband is very cold. Perhaps he was an Auromet patient. Auromet patient. Very conscientious. Very serious, earnest sort of people who are always very responsible and very conscientious, proper sort of patient. So this Aurum patient, I think he was trapped with this lady, who wanted to have fun, but he's serious. So you see that the will of this is the symptom of the innermost of man. And if we prick a bit, patient starts telling all these things. She forgot talking about her piles. She forgot talking about her dysmenorrhea. She was more concerned. Her complaint was more the desire for amusement that she is not getting. That's the will of that lady. That is in conflict, or that is in trouble. And the symptoms of piles of lachesis, dysmenorrhea, if you go to the repertory, they might match or they might not match. Does not matter. That's what Dr. Ken says. If you have the will of the man, the conflict, that should heal her piles and dysmenorrhea. Okay, we go to the second slide. I think this slide, the case was good. Now Ken Saab once again says, now I'll take the help of my colleague here also. So soon he will come. First I'm going to explain a case, and then he will say his case. You can see the photo, and if you are a foreign delegate, perhaps you might not get what is happening here, but all my Indian colleagues are definitely going to find out what is happening here, because it's a very famous pic of Bollywood. Here, man thinks with his fingers, the eyes and the skin. Now you tell me, how are you going to explain this sentence scientifically? Any one of you can explain this scientifically? Man thinks with his fingers. We think with our brain. We think with our mind. And how can you think with the eyes? And how can you think with the skin? Here, Dr. Kent is explaining the art. So the homeopathy is 2 or 3 steps above science. And here comes the understanding of whole man. And if you see in this photo, you will understand the lady on the right hand side, she has so much passion, so much desire for something that she had been seeking the whole life. And all these things of the man which is cooking inside, which is going inside her heart, in subconscious mind, comes out through the fingers, through the eyes and the skin. For example, a lady enters into your clinic. She is, for example, newly married, for example, say 2 or 3 years old. 2 or 3 years. She's married since 2 to 3 years, not so long. But you see that there is so much grief in her eyes. How should be a lady who's just married 2 years? She must be having a lipstick, she must be having a nice nail polish. She should be bubbly, she should be happy. But something has gone wrong, and that's the point from where the case taking starts. That's where you have to crack. And that's what Ken Saab, Dr. Ken wanted us to learn. Man thinks with his fingers, the eyes and the skin. The volitional system extends throughout the body. These things are close to the patient, close to his vital loves. They express the patient. They express the man. And that's what we are trying to share it with you, with all our efforts, the cases with which we have seen in the clinic. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so along with this, the previous slide, we have numerous cases of piles, and we'll see the different adaptation of the same pathology, but how a man expresses himself so differently. So here C.M. Bogar has said, wonderful, just we must learn to know our remedies just as we do our friends. What are friends? He is Kamina. He's a rascal fellow, but he is definitely going to help me whenever I need. He is not a loyal friend. Never think about him. You cannot count upon him. He's such a lovely friend. Whenever I come and meet him, I'm full of energy. You see, so you know his personality, you feel his energy, you understand him, you perceive him, you know him out and out. Science cannot describe that. So we need to know the energy of those medicines, those remedies. We need to know the remedy of that patient or a person, match it, and we should know those remedies as we know as our friends, their aura and personality. That's what Bogar Sahab wanted to tell us. Now I'll start with the case. So can you go back to the previous slide? So we had a fun when I was talking to Dr. Mayur about this slide. Man thinks with his fingers, the eyes and the skin. So he was talking about, we are going to present some cases of piles. So said, we thought, okay, man thinks with his fingers, the eyes and the skin. He must be thinking with his piles also. So let's see what he thinks with the piles. So I had a very good case. Well, I cannot, of course, I cannot show that case because the wonderful sight of the piles you would not like to watch, because it was a 4th degree piles. So it was completely prolapse, and he could not put it in. And today I'm proud to say that I'm a homeopathic doctor, because we see so many variety of cases. We are not only busy, say for example, as a proctologist. What do you see the whole day? You see, and what do we see as a homeopathic doctor? So you see variety of cases, and I think that makes homeopathy so interesting. I would not like to become a proctologist, I tell you. So so this case comes to me, and he comes with his wife, and when he sits in front of me, he does not sit comfortably at the back. He sits very close to me. That's how the case starts, you see. These small gestures matter a lot. A few people might be sitting like this, Is the video visible? A few people come towards you. A few people are sitting in a completely different posture. That says something. So slowly you will come to know. So this man comes to me, and he sits as if he has some pain in his bum. And he starts, doctor, I'm suffering from piles, and they're bleeding. And perhaps he didn't know, and he says that the doctor had told me that it is prolapse of rectum, but it was piles. So of course he didn't know as a layman. I said, okay, but what is troubling you? So I'd like to, I'm not such a good actor, but I'll try to act what was going on his face. He was the eyes. What was happening to his eyes and what was the gesture on his face? Doctor, I'm suffering from bleeding piles and and they're very painful. So I have tried homeopathy also. I have tried allopathy also, but they said that you have to get it operated. But how would I get operated? It's so painful. What's going to happen? Doctor, I've heard a lot about you. You please save me. Otherwise, what's going to happen? I don't know. You have to save me, doctor. And the interview, the whole consultation was around 15 to 20 minutes. And during the whole consultation, he was talking in a very fearful tone. He was very, very scared that what if it's going to be operated? What is happening to me? What will happen? And then, so I asked, are you scared for operation? It's a very common question, you know. You cannot keep on asking about piles, the pain and everything, because whatever patient is telling you, better flow with that. So I asked, are you scared about it? No. Yeah, a bit. Yes, I'm a bit scared, but not that much. But doctor, tell me, can you cure me? Please cure me, doctor, because you are my only hope. Only you can. Only you can. You can. Please, doctor. I don't know anyone else. You have to, doctor. You have to cure me. So this, and during the whole consultation of 15, I was trying to know. I was just trying to talk to his wife also, and a few other things also along with piles I was suffering from. But he kept on talking only about his piles. Only he kept on coming to that point. Coming to that point. It is very painful. It is happening. Doctor, you know, since 2 days I didn't go to stools. I didn't pass stools. Then what? Many people don't pass stools. No, but what if these piles burst? Then what will happen? You see the way he's talking. Other adaptations we'll see. It was a typical case of stramonium. And the fourth grade pile, which was almost ready to burst, it was looking red. And he forced me to examine. 3 to 4 times he said, doctor, please look what is happening. So I said, okay, I'm going to record you. He said, okay, you can record me, no problem. So I recorded the piles and it was red, bulging, and fourth grade. So, and after recording, I said, you want to see? He said, no, doctor, no. I don't want to see. First you treat me and then I will have a look. So that patient was given stramonium 200 and that fourth grade pile, which was a surgical emergency. I was also scared in a way to take that case. But it came directly from the surgeon and he had said there is no other solution apart from surgery. So I gave him stramonium 200. Gradually he improved and within 3 months, the piles disappeared completely. So that was the beauty of homeopathy. Forget about that, but remember the way I was acting. I tried to brought you the patient right in front of you. I looked into his eye. It was so astonished. So when you're with something, you are into it. You cannot, nobody can take your attention away from that. You are into the impression, what has happened to me? What's going to happen? And there was another rubric, if you want to hear, was carried desire to be carried shoulder on shoulder over. So what does that mean? It means, imagine you are a child and you want mother. You come to your mama and you put your head upon and the body upon your mother because you know that mother is going to take care of me. So this is the state of that patient. You treat me, only you are the person who can treat me. Please take care of me. And my responsibility is on your shoulder. He didn't say that, but you have to feel it. So all this fear, all these scary eyes, the astonished eyes pointed me towards stramonium. So this is one of the adaptation. Another case of pile, Dr. Mayur is going to explain you because we have it in series for the better comprehension, for the better understanding, so that you can see that how a man is different, how the reaction of a man is different with the same pathology. We have 3-4 more cases, one after another. And you will see, yes, that's the point. That's what Kent and Dr. Henneman wanted to say. Share the picture? No, that comes later. I have some pics also of the repertorial charts also that you will see. I'll show you. Okay, so here is the second case of the same pathology of piles. Dr. Mayur is going to come.
So, see this in HHF, we believe in togetherness, we believe in teamwork, we believe in integrity. Have you ever seen types of webinars where there are two speakers at a time sharing the same dais, sharing the same laptop? Of course, with social distancing, I would rather tell he's 10 feet away from me. Okay, yeah, and hence the mask is all over here. I'm really very cautious about it. Yeah, this shoulder, this has to be carried over shoulder. Means what? You hold a child like this. Just imagine this child. What when we hold a child on the shoulder, the child just gives up everything upon this shoulder. So I am a physician. Doctor Saab, please, now only you do whatever you tell me, whatever I'll do. I don't know anything. You make me all right, boss. Please, you only do everything. He's relying everything on the physician's shoulder. This is how we understand. See, this is a slight metaphor, but it's really very interesting to understand. The fear. Doctor Saab, yesterday when I passed, I saw 2 drops of. He's not ready to, utter the word blood. You, 2 drops of. Doctor, are you okay? No, I'm I'm fine. Affectation. Show off. Huh? Hannah, this is stram. Okay. So no. Why we are focusing on the man in the disease is because in piles, I would like to tell you or share you a case. Okay. See the observations means sometimes we are so we enjoy. Okay, I would like to tell you one more thing. The one where this man in the disease for the first time, I would tell you this observations is so interesting. If you have a quarrel at your home, you don't feel bad about what your wife says to you. Okay, you try to find out the remedy. Ignition, not you will not get offended here, right? It's fun when you start thinking of a man in the disease. Okay, so try to find out the man in the disease in every aspect. If you are in a bus and your conductor is asking you, come on, give your ticket, where do you want to go? Don't get offended. Is just the way he's speaking is Naksunika. So this is how we have to understand a man, and this is what we call as life material. Okay, so the case was in front of me, and see the way we all the case. It's very interesting. The patient was suffering from severe piles. Again, the 3rd degree, 4th degree, 11th degree, whatever degree it is, and he was like the wife got the patient in at my clinic, and I said, okay. He was like this. Yeah, good morning. Yeah. So you are suffering from piles, or your wife is suffering from piles? Because the wife's face was more anxious than the patient's face. He was like this. He was like this, and I was really wondering whether he's really suffering from piles. So I asked, let us check whether you have that severe, intense pain and intense that. So I just wanted, most of the times I check the case whether it's piles, fistula, whatever, because the patients have a tendency to see, again, I am suffering from piles, but it may be fistula. So there must be some, the diagnosis is also very important, no doubt of it. So I just wanted to just examine the patient. The patient was like, and I asked him to remove the trousers. And I removed this trouser slightly down, and when I saw the lesion, it was like, oh my god! I am a physician, but at the same time, I'm a human being, man. Oh, isn't it? So I was, of course, instead of the patient getting astonished, like the previous one, what Alok had just enacted, that fear, that Stramonium's fear, I'm suffering from this. And here, the patient was like lying down there, trying to understand the man in the disease, isn't it? So here, he was like, and so I just removed his trousers. I just wanted to see. And when I saw, oh my god, OMG, it was like, oh, I was astonished. The patient was like, so what happened? The patient was like, he just looked at me in a very cool posed state. Like, what happened? I said, nothing. All is well. My next name is also all is well. So no, all is well. All is well. And I was like, my God, the least, the blood was staining and in his undergarments. It was bleeding. You could feel the pain. What level of pain he must be going through? And still at the same time, he was like, yeah, what happened? Then what is this remedy all about? Have you come across these cases where the patient is suffering from piles? The same reaction. Maybe the patient is suffering from fever 104, thermometer is showing temperature 104, and the patient is like, how are you? No, it's okay. He hasn't passed stools for last 3 days, but he was, how is your stool? 3 days back I passed a bit tight and it was very painful. It was bleeding and it was paining. It was paining. And right now it's also paining. See the difference of the individual to individual. This stramonium and this rubric. We have a rubric. Well, says he when very sick. मी इकडे काय केलं माझा चेहरा येईल का अच्छा so where am I which this is it well he when very sick is so common rubric. We only find it in arnica, but we have opium also in it. Well says in when very sick we have opium, and this is the painlessness of opium, the content feeling of opium. See, we have seen this content feeling in the repertories, in the materia medicas, that a patient is cool and calm. But how to relate it in physical symptoms? How to relate it with your this could have in constipation, opium is 5-mark remedy, isn't it? But with constipation, if you'll take that contentness, if you with constipation, if you will take that painlessness, see the rock solid confident while prescription. Isn't it? So this is how we understand the man in disease. This opium, the painlessness. Imagine a person suffering from fever. I just showed you the case. I wanted to give an example of fever. 104, at least there should be one ooh, ah, ouch, something like that. No. The patient, when we tend to examine the patient, the thermometer is 104. This is painlessness. See the difference. This man we have to understand. Now I will again call upon Alok. The polarities in the change of remedies, the understanding, the adaptation. When you adapt to a situation, if we are taking a single stimulus and that is piles, single disease, that is piles, but the adaptation changes from one person to another. The individualization, the peculiarity, the rareness, so big lesion, so painful, distressing pain, and the patient has no pain in his eyes. This is adaptation. Okay. Alok, shall I wear? You remove the mask. I will wear the mask. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mayur. So you can see the adaptations. So many different adaptations. It's good that he reminded the case taking how we learn homeopathy. So one experience I like to share is when you are in that frame of mind as a homeopathic doctor, because it's in your blood now, it's in your genes now. Your wife is standing in front of you. I'm just telling you my example. Your wife is standing in front of you and she is accusing you. Accusing means complaining that you did this, you did that. So you're looking at her and you think, okay, this could be Nakshmika, this could be this, that. But when she comes to you in a sick state, when she is sick, and talk to her, and she tells you that she's having headache, she's having a backache, and she's not feeling well, she's feeling cranky, or so in your mind, what happens with my wife? I start taking her case, and she's upset with me. For example, if she's upset with me for something, so it becomes a sort of case taking session. So then I ask her, and what else, and what else, and what else, so you start taking her case. So it becomes so funny sometimes that the homeopathic character of you comes in front of you, and my wife has started recognizing, okay, then she says, okay, take out this homeopath out of your mind and become a husband now. So that was funny. So now another adaptation of a case of a file. So I get a phone call from daughter-in-law, from a lady, and she calls me that I'm coming today in the evening with in-law, and she's having severe bleeding piles and a lot of pain and a lot of coughing also, and many symptoms, many other complaints. And surprising thing, doctor, is that she is having it for the past 2 weeks, and I tell her, let's go to the doctor, but she doesn't listen to me. Okay, that's going to be interesting, because the bleeding is severe, doctor, bleeding is severe, and I see that she is writhing in pain. You can see it upon her face, but she doesn't want to come. I said, why do you not want to go? It will be okay, it will be all right. So evening, the clinic starts, I'm sitting here, the door is there, and the patient enters. Patient is that old lady of 65 years old. She enters, she opens the door, and she says, good evening, doctor, or in Indian way of saying, namaste, doctor. And she enters. So I said, wow, okay. So something happened. The way she spoke, something happened to me. And then behind her comes her daughter-in-law, who is accompanying her, who brought her here. This is very important to understand. Many times you don't think that a patient didn't come when the complaint started. He waited for 5 days, he waited for 6 days, or he took some paracetamol and he elevated his complaint. Why? It is also very important of that we will come to know later. And she sits in front of me. So I ask her, please have your seat, because she's 65-year-old and I need to pay to her. She says, no, doctor, I am okay. I would like to stand because I have pain in my pie, in my. Said, okay. So said, but if you, whatever, if you want you can sit, if you want you can stand. She said, okay, I'll sit. So she sits in really in a very in a position, like, one thigh up and trying not to take. So you could see upon her face that she was having a lot of pain. So, and then her daughter-in-law starts telling her, I call you today. So she's my mother-in-law. So I start communicating with the old lady, 65 years old, And during the conversation, many times she used very good English words, and I was surprised. As a layman, if you're a doctor, you won't be surprised because she was a housewife. I confirmed it later. She was a housewife and she was speaking good English words, and that was surprising for me. And so I asked her, why didn't you come 2 weeks before? If you are having so much trouble, you are coughing the whole night. The neighbors even wake up. Daughter-in-law told her she coughs so badly, so loud that even the neighbors wake up. And this bleeding is for the past 2 weeks. So why didn't you come before? You could have come to me. No, Doctor Sahab, I thought that I can handle it. It will get better. So that's what I. So then daughter-in-law says, no, doctor, she doesn't take her health seriously. But whatever happens to her, she says, okay, it will be all right. It will be all right. So, and the conversation went on for 10 to 15 minutes. But the first 15-20 seconds, along with that phone call, the first 1 minute of consultation and the conversation that I had on phone with the daughter-in-law confirmed the remedy. And later, got more confirmed. So what do you think? What could be the medicine in this case? First thing, as a layman, a doctor in me found that a very peculiar and striking thing, that a person who is having severe bleeding piles, painful piles, he comes and he pays respect to me. Don't you find that it very, very striking? And that respect was not artificial. Many times patients come and they say, good morning, doctor, how are you doing? That's not respect. That's a very, very formal talk. But in this case, she comes and the way she says, namaste, doctor, it was a very, very thing. It touched my heart that a 65-year-old lady is paying respect to a doctor, or say a man of 36 years old. So that was very, very peculiar to me. And then a simple housewife started speaking few English words. So that was very, very peculiar for me. And the medicine that comes up, I got a few calls saying that if you could not reveal the name of the medicine, first explain through it through the rubrics. So the first rubric that I took, very, very peculiar state, that Dr. Kent and Dr. Hanneman, as we showed you the aphorisms, was the touching thing was reverence. Don't you feel that at this time, what happened with the stramonium case? Was in a state that when should I tell the doctor my complaint, and he should take me out of this complaint. He should take me out of this problem. But in this case, she is not scared. Bleeding does not touch her. She is not scared about the pile. She doesn't have much concern with her cough. So this is the first rubric that I took, because these rubrics of the mind section of the repertory are the morbid rubrics. The patient is in a sick state, and then they were noted. Reverence for those around him. And the first thing. The second thing, what could be the second thing? If you are in such a terrible state, you would like to visit a doctor. But you say, no, it will be all right. It will be all right. I'll be all right. But the conditions are worsening. That's a very, very non-serious nature of you. It's a very non-serious attitude of you towards the disease. And what is that? Simple. We use that word so often in our daily conversations, and that is frivolous. So I took frivolous. You can hook it up and you can see there are three medicines coming: pulsatilla, silica, and sulfur. Slowly in this series you will come to know, and it was very easy for me to diagnose the medicine in this case. And the medicine was sulfur. I'll tell you why it was sulfur. Slowly we will explain you why pulsatilla, why not silica, why not sulfur. So sulfur is a person who carries a grace. He's not perturbed or he's not anxious from simple things. These things don't touch him. He's a man of ability. He is the man of power, and his power is his intellect, his knowledge. That's why there is a rubric, philosophy, ability for. So I'm just trying to explain you the personality of sulfur. Sulfur always respects you. He is into reverence. He does not disrespect you. Delusion, wealth. Wealth is not only your money. Wealth is the resource. Wealth is your strength. And wealth is your power. Wealth is your ability that you can do the things. And that's why he thought, this lady thinks, okay, I can handle this problem. It's not a big deal. It's bleeding, it will get all right. You see, that's the positiveness of sulfur. And here she is non-serious about her disease because she thinks that she can manage. All right, so this was sulfur. Now, can you go back to the slide, please? I'd like to explain very important. That is related with the case. If you go to the PPT, in PPT, Dr. Kent has spoken a wonderful thing. Can you go down a bit? Down. Again. Back. Yes. So how to elicit a man? On the left-hand side, Dr. Kent in Alumina writes, the manner in which he does business, the manner in which the disease affects the entire man. Then you have something to individualize by. I'd like to read it once again. The manner in which the disease affects a man. Pile affected stramonium, he got scared. Opium, he was numb. He was content. He had a painless state. So the disease was affecting the entire man in a completely different way. Then you have something to individualize. You can immediately individualize if you know how this disease, how this pile is affecting the entire man. Can you go to the pictures, please? Now I'd like to show you something important, a very important observation that goes hand in hand with this quote of Dr. Kent as described in Alumina, pile's totality. So now in the upcoming radar slide, you will see how generally we take the case. It's not coming, or you can open the directly from the pen drive. So we can see that how different the adaptations are. So when we know the way the disease is affecting man, we need to be least worried about the symptoms, the disease. We can take those symptoms or those rubrics of the disease, but the main thing is how that man is getting affected by. So here is the clipboard that usually we do. So rectum hemorrhoids, painful rectum hemorrhage. So it's a pic, so I cannot scroll. Doesn't matter. So these are the symptoms that we take usually in the cases of piles. Hemorrhoids, painful, splinter-like pain, rectum pain, burning. He feels hot, warmth aggravates. He's a hot patient. He was talking too much, or this is just a case example. Don't link it with the previous case. He's suffering from constipation. What else? Okay, head pain also. Head pain accompanied by nausea. Sun aggravates your complaint. So like this and like this. So you have a totality of around 21 rubrics, right? Now, can you go back to the slide, please? I mean the radar. The pic. The pic, the previous, the one that you just showed. I think there is some technical glitch with the. So when you take all these rubrics, I observed one thing, and that was there were at least 10 to 15 medicines, one, completely out one another, and all of them, maximum, all of them were covering the symptoms that were taken: head pain, heat aggravated, pain in the piles or pain in the hemorrhoids, rectum, uh, burning pains, along with that backache, concomitants, and all this. So all these symptoms, when I put them together, I saw at least 10 to 15 medicines coming along with Naxomica, sulfur, lachesis, all these things. Huh? There is some network issue, that's why you cannot see. Can you see?
Is fine. I think you should continue.
Piles 1 हो गया ना, piles totality हो गया ना, piles totality दिखा. So in this piles totality, you see many medicines coming together. Now it's visible here. It's not visible. Okay, so it's not visible there. So okay, so that's how it is looking. You can see that there are so many medicines coming one after another. But how are you going to individualize? That's the question. So now here, what I did in this case, I put one rubric: reverence for those around him. Piles, reverence. Second slide, number 1 slide. So when you put reverence for those around him, that rubric, you give it a priority, as Dr. Kent and Dr. Hanuman say. You come to 2 or 3 medicines, and that is Naxomica, that is Pulsatilla, and sulfur. These 3 medicines come right away in front of you. That's how you individualize by. Then I did one more thing, because this lady was non-serious about her complaints. You see, because she didn't want to come. It's fine. I take another rubric, frivolous. So if you hook these 2 things, frivolous, reverence for the people, those around him, you come only to sulfur. So you see that how we could individualize immediately by focusing upon the mind of the person, the peculiar state of the mind of the person, discovering the man. All right. So I hope it's clear that why it is sulfur. For that, it's visible on the screen. The frivolous. Good. Okay. Now we come to another case. This is a very interesting case. Okay. So this gentleman is a character, and this character is very interesting, I tell you, because when this character enters in your clinic, I told you in the beginning that you have a feeling with every patient. You say no, say shit, yes, wow. These expressions are going inside your heart, and when this patient enters into your clinic, the energy that this patient carries is something very, very weird. So when this patient enters into your cabin, he has so much weight and gravity in you, in himself, that you feel like, my God, he could be a professor, or he could be important fellow. So that's the energy that he carries in the clinic. So this fellow comes and he sits in front of me, and while entering he says, "Good evening, doctor." Once again, that thing of reverence, it touched, but along with touching, inside that reverence, something else was happening in me. There was some sort of discomfort in me. So I'm just trying to explain you what was happening. I'm just telling you the man, or the layman inside me, what I as a layman was feeling about him. So this man enters and he sits in front of me in a very weird way. And how does he sit? I cannot show you here, but I'll try. So he had a bit of huge belly, and he sits in front of me like this. He takes his full area of the couch in front of me. He takes the full area. He sits like this and like this. Doctor, I suffered from an MI. I'm taking medicine for that. And he tells me the name of the medicines, all of them. He remembers. That's also very important. Not every patient tells you the name of the medicine. But the important thing was the way he was talking. So what I felt from him was to call him sir. हाँ sir, और बोलिए. Yes sir, please tell. Yes sir, please tell. So this is the feeling that I had from him. So I suffered from MI. So what is MI? I'm talking as a layman. So what he's telling is very, very important. How many people know that MI is myocardial infarction? But he knows MI. I'm suffering from MI, and I'm suffering from diabetes also. But that is a control. I can control that. I do yoga. I do dieting also. I walk and I take the tablets. I'm taking Metformin 500, and that's fine. That's not the problem. I have pain in my joints also, but that also I can manage because I have walk, gentle walk, and that does good to me. No problem. So, but I have these problem of hemorrhoids. You know, hemorrhoids. So I have some itching there, and sometimes it bleeds also. I'm having constipation also, but constipation I can manage with isabgol, and I drink warm water. So that is okay. But what is troubling me is itching. Do you have something? If you have something in your homeopathy for this itching, if that itching is the relief, then it will be good. I'm fine with that. Okay. You have nothing better if homeopathy can help. That's it. That's it, doctor. If you have any questions, you can ask. And I am like this. Okay, sir. Okay. Yes. Yes, sir. So this feeling with so much weight that is sitting in front of you, it means something. All right. So this, what would you think that this character comes in front of you? What are you feeling? He is higher and I am lower. Don't you feel that? If I act in front of you, would you not? Many characters are like this who come in the clinic. Right in front of them, you feel okay, sir. Yes, 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 sir. This feeling comes in front of me. He is higher and I am lower. As a doctor, I am feeling lower. It's not, he was not disrespecting me in any sense, but he was occupying his space. And the way he was talking, it was a very chic language. I'm suffering from MI. And I can control, I can do, I can do everything I want. You know, I can control diabetes. I can take care of pain in the joints. But if you have something in homeopathy, so this something was pinching. Something in homeopathy? What do you mean? You see that this is the feeling going on in my head. So I didn't have much questions to ask. Please show the slide of platina. Oh, sorry. I said the name of the medicine, but this is given in the rubrics beautifully, and that was happening in the clinic right away. I'd like to share a very interesting incident. So here it is. Delusion diminished everything is in the room, and he is higher. Something like this. The rubric is there. I didn't take a good picture of it, but this is the rubric. And the egotism. Don't you feel that this fellow was very, very egoistic, talking about himself only, busy with himself only? Diminished, everything in room is diminished, while she is tall and elevated. Delusion wealth, once again, I can control everything, I can do. You see? So you hook it up, delusion wealth, egotism, and the very, very important rubric, which was touching me here, or which shook me a bit. The way he said that if you have something in homeopathy, please give me. You see? Please, he is also saying, and he's putting you down also. But his intention is not to put you down. You are feeling. He's so heavy. So he was given platina. Do you feel it? I think the rubrics are in front of you. You can feel it. One very interesting incident. I was learning this system. I was trying to understand this very, very interesting mind system. And I was introduced to Dr. Mayur. So I was sitting in his clinic. There comes a fellow. He was a Pandit. So Pandit in India, if you're a Western delegate, so Pandits are wearing a cap here, and they are considered in Indian society as a very highly intellectual people. So he comes with a cap here. He wears a kurta, Indian typical traditional thing, and he was having a gamcha here, a cloth here. It's a typical Pandit's dress. And I was sitting on the right hand side. Doctor was sitting here, and this fellow enters in the room, and he was a follow up. He would have come many times to him. So he knew where Mayur sits and where the junior doctors sit. So this fellow enters inside. Can you believe that what they have written in the rubrics or in the provings? It's so peculiar, so correct. He enters and he literally looks at me like this, and he looks like this, and he goes and sits there in front of Dr. Mayur, and he does his gamcha like this. Doctor, like this. So this was amazing, and I felt so, lowered by him. If you see that person, you'll say, hey, who are you? But I could not say from that, who are you? I felt as if, oh my God, who is he? And he literally looked at me like this. So he is tall, and the people sitting in front are lower. It's a direct rubric, and I was amazed. So I looked at Mayur, and Mayur said like this, So we knew that it is platina. And believe me, my friends, if you have a patient like this sitting in front of you, or feel like saying, sir, please do this for me, have you, sir? Because he is at the higher post. He is not claiming anything. That's his energy. That's his vital force. Whenever you feel like this, and when he, in a way, downgrades you, it's a sort of downgradation, but in a respectful way, you would like platina. One of the most important rubric of platina is shrieking. In the repertories before, it was shrieking aid for, but now they have changed, and I think it's a very wrong thing. Shrieking hell for. If you put Kent, you'll see shrieking aid. So what is aid actually? Aid is, for example, if we use that word first aid. So without aid, you can survive. You don't need aid. You get injured, you might need some betadine or some something for infection. That's the aid. So that's the aid he is asking you. Can you give me something which can take care of my constipation? You see that? Shrieking aid for. And why this shrieking? This shrieking is piercing your ears, piercing at your heart. I am a homeopathic doctor, and he's asking me in this way. So it was not pleasant. And that is shrieking aid for. With aid, without aid you can survive. That's what his vital force, his subconscious mind was expressing in front of me, that if you don't give it, nothing is going to happen to me. But if you can give me something from homeopathy, that will help me. That might give me a sort of aid. Then it's okay. You see that? That's the shrieking aid for. So I hope a bit of characteristics of platina, you have it in front of you, and I gave you my feeling that as a layman and a doctor, what you feel when a platina patient enters. Now another patient. Yes, I think Dr. Mayur would like to share some more of his experience about platina, and he's a very good actor, so I think he can act more like platina. So it's good that I'll have a 2 minutes break, but you are not getting any minute break because we have limited time. Here you go. Here is Dr. Mayur. Where's my mask?
I hope you are not getting bored. See, Alok said that I enact platina. I am not platina, okay? Please. Yeah. See, platina. If you have this much of ego in your, you know, will and understanding, this much of ego, you can understand platinum. But if you don't have any ego, then it may the remedy can be anything. But if you have this, you can understand plat. Why? There was a case in front of me. He was suffering from diabetes. Now, diabetes, all symptoms. Yes, of course, thirst, chilly, everything. Absolutely right. But this man was in front of me and he was like, the AC is on. And I said, yes. He just looked into this. What is the capacity? What is the capacity? I was like, oh my God, there is no table in front of me. See, when I consult, there's my chair and the patient is in front of me. There is no table whatsoever. There is no table in between. Had it been a table in front, I would have just bent down and hide in between beneath the table. That was the reaction. This AC is nothing, I suppose. What is the capacity? Capacity 1.5. No, it's not more than 1. My God, see how we are case. See, of course, this is the man in the disease. How many people ask you the capacity of the air condition, which is playing, which is okay. It was not good. I agree. But who is the one who can directly say to the physician upfrontly, what is the capacity of AC? My God, this is not done. And I was like, inferior. Got it. There is no parking area in your this clinic. Yeah, there is. Oh, but this was for the small cars. What about big, long, C-class Mercedes and all? I said, see, down. Have you ever imagined this contemptuousness? Anytime. What is your fees? Are you asking me a fee or asking a favor? What is your fees? My fees. This is what the man in the disease is all about. What? Do you have any medicine for this constipation? Okay, then just give me 1 or 2 doses. That will be enough for me. Enough for me. When a platinum case is in front of us, my dear friends, as if we feel that they are doing a favor to us. Write it down. If you are budding homeopaths, write it down. As if we feel that they are doing a favor. Thank you very much. The patient leaves the consulting room and says, thank you, doctor, isn't it? But here in this cases of platina, the peculiar, the rareness, the individualization, we feel thank you very much. We have a feeling from within. No doubt we should not say like that. But yes, see, what amount of ego you have, man. This is how we understand the man in the disease. Now, diabetes over there, of course, there. But is it peculiar? Isn't it? I can just give me 1 dose of see, diabetes I can manage. Forget it. Sugar, just what are your sugar levels? Ask, na? What is your sugar? And then forget it. What forget it? Shall I follow the protocol or not? What forget it? No, that is that I can. Then what are you here for? Just give me some dose so that I would exercise regularly. What is this? You want medicine for stamina, and what about diabetes? He will manage. This is how platinum diminishes the disease also. This is the superiority complex. Have we imagined these types of cases? This is how we understand the man in the disease. So sorry, I would like to tell one thing again. Just give me 1 minute. See, Alok explained you sulfur. Alok explained you platina. Alok, I explained you. I just told you about glimpses of stramonium, glimpses of opium. If at all you wanted to know, understand how we understand the remedy in its whole extent, definitely. But now, how we are trying to just making you understand how matters the most. Now, tomorrow I'll be taking a remedy, one full remedy, which is very common for, and it's a good news for all also. It will be a new remedy for you, but The whole world has prescribed this remedy thousands of times. But I'll tell you how to understand the whole journey. If you'll start talking about sulfur, if you'll start talking about platina, it will take hours and days together to understand only one remedy. But we are just trying to give you the keynote, that is, oh, Michael Jackson. What is this? Oh, Miss Max. So we are just trying to give you the, when you churn the buttermilk, the what comes, that butter we are trying to explore. Tomorrow we'll show you the process of churning the buttermilk. But today, just understand how beautiful this is all about. It's all about. You will also enjoy. You'll start enjoying your life. You'll start enjoying your clinics. You won't see, "Arey yaar, chat, man." Don't. No, it won't be like this. You will enjoy every single day of your clinics. So this is just, we are giving the glimpses. It's not like, it's not at all that this is one liners. No, we don't believe in one liners. Platina is chili. Why chili? We try to understand the why behind it. Why platina is chili? What is chili? What Alok said, na? Chili. Arey yaar, you cannot bear this person for more than 5 minutes. This is chili. We want a chili response. How do you say? When I entered the whole seminar hall was full of delegates. But when I entered, there was a chilly response. I mean, nobody at least give a stand. I don't expect any applause, but good, hello, good morning, everyone. There was no response whatsoever. That is also chilly. So this chilly and emotional chilly goes hand in hand together. Pulsatile is hot. What is hot? Hot means you need this person along with you on and off. This is hot. Sepia chili, pulsatile hot, ignitia hot. Isn't so? This is also, no doubt, of course, no doubt, we can take this risk, but we have to understand the why, bloody why. Okay. So Alok, shall I call you? Alok will be case. Then again, I'll come and share some experience of this hemorrhoids cases. So you, after 7 days, you will be okay. Alok, come.
Okay, so I hope you had a more understanding about platina. One instance I remembered. It's good to take pauses. Uh, Amongst you, who could be platina? I tell you. You, a few of you might be taking some notes. Sulfur, wealth. He does not complain about his disease. This, this. Okay. But platina, amongst you, who's platina? I'll be looking at like this. Cha, okay. So that's what happens when we are taking the sessions in ours. Many of them, what they do, like students, they're writing, kya bola? What did he say? Acha. Or kya bola? They're writing. But Mr. Platina is sitting on the chair like this. Okay. He does not need to write. I'm full here. I know everything. He needs to learn from me. So look at his face and you see that he's not accepting, he's not receiving because he's already full. So that is Mr. Platina, right? So so you can see that how ego and how fear and how painlessness is connected with the single pathology of piles. And we are understanding the man by understanding him as a layman and understanding his mental state. Now, another very interesting case of remedy. So this gentleman came to me. He appeared to be very mild, gentle, and talking sensibly. Sir, I'm suffering from piles, and when I go to stools, I have some pain there also, and I'm suffering from allergic rhinitis also. I have a lot of sneezing in the morning when I wake up. I have to sneeze a lot. In the office also, when I go, there's a lot of problem. So I was thinking if if you can help me, sir, would be because I took some allopathy, so a bit better. But after that, you see my language of the body. So this is the vital force speaking. So it cannot be plateaued out. Simple. You see that? So that's how we study the remedies. So that's how the energy of the patient you have to perceive. Without any doubt, platina is ruled out. Now, further. So I ask the whereabouts, what else happens, and then one simple question, a very very important part of our case taking is whether you are suffering from some stress or something unusual has happened for the 2 to 3 months or 1 year, which is disturbing you, you know, any other problem. So I said, yes, sir. Stress is there. There is a lot of stress in the office, and we have a lot of work pressure, sir. Okay, okay, but everybody has work pressure. You see, nowadays, because there are so many less jobs, so everybody has to work more. So what is so special that you're suffering from stress? So there, stress is with my boss. So I asked, what boss? Okay, so what is happening, sir? My boss is troubling me a lot. So in which way is he troubling me? Tell me, sir. He gave me a post of manager, but he treats me as if he treats me in front of my colleagues or the under me uh, as if I am their junior. So, sir, this is happening, and that disturbs me a lot. So I asked her, in which way does it disturb you? So he says, sir, I feel very bad that he treats me as a junior. I'm a manager and he treats me as a junior in front of my subordinates. So I feel very bad. Okay. So you feel very bad, then what do you do about it? Because when you want to understand the man, you have to see his reaction also. So it's a question. Huh? As a layman, you would like to know what do you do when your boss insults you. So I'm just telling you the questions that you might ask in to your patients to understand the man. So sir, I feel very hurt that he's insulting me so much. But I don't say anything to him. Um, I keep on thinking about it, although a lot about it. So what is the exact emotion? What do you feel, sir? I feel I feel very insulted and I feel angry, sir, because he should not do it. It's not good that he insults me in front of my subordinates. I'm manager, sir, and uh, you cannot talk to me like this in front of my subordinates. What would they think? So here is the case: piles, allergic rhinitis, and some other problems. Here is the case. What would you think in this case? What is the problem? Is the problem piles? Is the problem allergic rhinitis, or the insult? When he was telling about piles and allergic rhinitis, his face was almost normal. Of course, it was troubling. But when he started telling about his behavior, his boss's behavior to him, look at his face. Sir, I feel very bad and very very angry. I feel insulted. He should not do it. You see that? So that means he is suffering more from insult than the piles and allergic rhinitis. That is not troubling. That's not the main thing. That's not the innermost of man. That's not the will. Problem is at the will, and the will is disturbed or into conflict because he cannot talk back to her boss because he's senior. He can do something. In the case that happened later, uh, I took the case and slowly these things came up that he was angry and he could not express it. So I cannot express because he's senior to me. What would happen? But the insult was the main thing. What should be the first rubric, or what should be the first concern of the patient that you would take in this case? Simple insult. You see that? So we have a rubric: ailments from indignation, because this is troubling him a lot. So you can put the rubric ailments from indignation. And he considers himself a manager and his ego is hard. his ego is really hurt by, because he insulted his post, and he's insulting him in front of his subordinates. So ailments from, or you can directly go to the chart. We'll come to the chart. So indignation, ailments from indignation, and the second thing was egotism. I'm a manager and he is insulting me in front of them. That should not happen. I am something, sir, and he's insulting me in front of my subordinates. And then he is not able to talk it out. He's not able to express, but the anger is there. Ailments from anger suppressed. That's keep on going on his head. And he told me later during the conversation, sir, I am not able to sleep. This thing keeps on bugging me a lot. I keep on thinking about it, that how my boss was talking to me in front of my subordinates. You see? And slowly he tells me also that, sir, I'm not able to talk to him because I'm also scared of him. What if he fires me? And I have a lot of, he had this ambition to go very high into his field. So he was carrying this ambition, and that ambition, insult, and the egotism, all these things were the parameters which were disturbing him a lot, and that was the personality of this patient. And can you take out and if you hook them up together, I think I cannot see it here on the screen, but it's on your screen. So you can see there is Staphysageria coming at the top. That's the man. And then is coming Nux vomica, aurum urinatum, aurum sulf, phosphorus, colocynth, and all these things. But what Dr. Ken said, you can individualize immediately. Now, Staphysageria is into, there is another very rubric in which the patient is not able to vent it out. Cowardice to express his opinion, because his ambition is high and is to grow very far, but if he insults or if he fires back to his boss, he might be fired. You see? So that's why he has this feeling. And the rubric is cowardice without courage to express own opinion. And this was manifesting with piles and allergic rhinitis. You hook it up, and then comes Staphysageria, and next to it is coming another medicine called Nux vomica. And we know Nux vomica. Nux vomica is not going to bear anything wrong. If you insult me in front of anybody, I will give you back right away. So Nux vomica is very fiery. That's his temperament. So you can see there could be many symptoms of Staphysageria and Nux vomica and another medicine coming, Ignatia and other things. The symptoms of piles and allergic rhinitis, hemorrhoids, if you go to the repertory, many symptoms might match when we go on the repertory chart. But when you understand the man, when you individualize by the mental characteristics, immediately you have the medicine Staphysageria right in front of you. We will see another medicine which is related with the indignation in the upcoming series, and you will find it very interesting. So we can see so many adaptations of the single pathology. So we saw almost 5 to 6 cases of piles, but so many other medicines. Now can we go back to the slide, or I think 8:30 is the time. Should we go ahead, or could you call the organizers?
We will wait for 10 minutes or
Okay, so
Yeah, Mayuresh, the session is going great, and I think you can proceed further.
We can proceed for how many more minutes?
half an hour.
How much time you required, sir?
Well, 10-15 minutes, that's good.
Yeah, it's okay. That would be fine.
And what about the delegates? What are they saying?
We have a very good audience, and they are hooked up. So I believe they are enjoying the session, and I think we should continue.
Okay, great. We have a lot to share. I would say 5 days are not enough.
I understand.
5 days are. This is just a start, I tell you.
Yeah.
Jaspal, Satyakal.
Very good evening. This is Dr. Rajesh.
And acha, this is Dr. Rajesh. Okay, okay, I'm Dr.
Okay, so now we go to the slides, please. So I hope what we are trying to convey is making sense, and it is easily comprehensible by acting of Dr. Mayuresh Mahajan and by our presentation. So we come back here. A very important aphorism 5, aphorism number 5. So our masters have explained how to understand man in the books, but perhaps we have not elicited them, or we have not uh, uh, understood them, or whatever could be the reason. So here we have compiled. So let's read this slide here in aphorism 5. His moral and intellectual character. So we have to understand, when especially when the disease is chronic or acute also, whatever. His moral and intellectual character. We have to understand it. His occupation, his mode of living and habits, his social and domestic relation, his age, sexual functions, etc., are to be taken into consideration. So this is a part of case taking. So these are the factors upon which we need to focus. How to focus? Can you go to the next slide? That's fine. Go to the previous. Okay. So I have some very interesting observations that we have observed in the clinic, and what Dr. Milind Rao sir told us, how to understand a person when you become a layman. For example, what happens in the very classical case taking? Uh, it could be a shortcoming, you can say, or it's not a shortcoming, but just an opinion, just a notion that whenever the patient comes in front of you, please don't focus upon paper and pen, because patient is coming with that energy and you have to immediately grasp it. What does Dr. Hahnemann mean by writing his age? Is age just a number? How old are you? 15 years old, female, sex, gender. It's not only the number. Apart from that number, it means a lot. How? When a 15-year-old girl or a 15-year-old boy comes into a clinic, already there are some vibes, or already there is some understanding that this particular category of age might be having some very common problems. For example, nowadays it's very common that there is a sort of rebelling attitude, or some sort of repulsive attitude in the youngsters against their parents. One thing. Another could be some love disappointment, boyfriend, girlfriend. That could be one of the cause. So the age is not just a number, but age brings the problems of that particular uh, particular ways. The permutations and combinations of every age is completely different. A girl of 33-year-old comes to you with PCOD issue, for example, and you ask her, PCOD. She explains you everything, and then you start asking. The thing comes to marriage. 33 is quite a matured age that you should be married. For example, I got married when I was 30. So it's a good age to marry. You would like to know from the patient that why didn't you marry? It's 33-year-old. Her ambition, her career became the priority, and there could be that conflict. There is the case, there is the link, there is that particular characteristic from where you can enter into the case. Why didn't she marry? Because I'm looking for something higher. I'm not still satisfied with the post that I'm having. One example. Age is just not a number. Another old man, or 60, 65-year-old male comes to your clinic. What could be the problems? Perhaps her family had forsaken. Perhaps this fellow was not getting due respect from his son, his own son, or his wife died recently and he's feeling alone. or the money that he had saved for old age, he lost it. So you see, the age is not just a number. It explains a lot of it gives you a lot of area to decipher and find out the cause of the problem, from where you can get the link to enter into the case. That could become the peculiar thing apart from expressions and gestures. All right. For example, I like to give you a case of a lady. She was suffering from migraine, for example. So she comes, she's like 33 or 34 years old, and she's coming with her son. She enters the. Can you go back to the slide? There they explain. There, Dr. Hanneman has explained about social, and he used a particular word. The lifestyle. There was a particular word. Yes. His moral intellectual character, his occupation, mode of living and habits. Mode of living and habits. One boy enters into my clinic. He is like 22 years old, and he was wearing Armani shirt, t-shirt, and I asked his salary. I was thinking Armani, and his salary was 20,000 rupees. What does that say? Why are you having so much pomp in your life? You're earning only 20,000 rupees, and you are wearing Armani. You see, mode of living and habits. That's what he meant. Amdani atharni kharcha rupaiya. In Hindi, they say that you are earning $1, but you're spending $2. Living on credit. That is mode of living and habits. And his social,
which is really peculiar and strange.
which is very really and peculiar, and you can take that rubric right away. It could be one of the rubrics. Pompous, important. What is the need to show? And then comes a 50-year-old male. He is an industrialist wearing a simple cotton shirt with a simple 5 rupee record pen here, and very respectfully sits in front of you, and gradually you come to know that he is an industrialist. That is the mode of living and habit. He could be sulfur. Sulfur is a very simple, full with reverence, gentle, full of grace. So these things are very, very important. His age, sexual functions, domestic relations. Domestic relation is a very, very important feature of the case taking, which Dr. Yogesh will be taking whenever a family visits you. It's like a whole movie, fantastic. You should enjoy that case. For example, a patient sits in front of you, he's having headache, he's having pain here and there, whatever are the complaints. He is explaining, and his wife is sitting like this. What does that mean? What is happening? What is the chemistry here?
I am the husband and I am the husband, if at all. Okay.
He is the husband and I am the wife.
Of course, you will be the wife. Of course, I won't be a wife.
That is Platina speaking.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. I am the husband. So what should I do?
Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. So here is the husband. You are the doctor. You are looking at us. You are the doctor, and he's the husband. He's explaining he's having headache, and here is the wife.
What does this gesture mean? He wants to say.
The social relation, the domestic relation. What is happening here? There is no chemistry. This fellow is Nakswamika, keeps on scolding. So why shouldn't I show my back to him? Why wife should be communicative? Oh, okay. Tell me that constipation that you have. You didn't say.
I'm here. You don't interrupt in between. I'm here. Yeah, doc.
And there is a poor child of 10 years old sitting completely disciplined, because he knows if he talks or he goes and checks something clinic, this fellow is going to scold him.
And the way I'm speaking, shut up. Just shut up, okay? See this. This is how we understand the chemistry between the husband and the wife.
And you can conclude so many things with this. This is Nakswamika. This could be a sort of Staphysageria, suppressing her anger. She's trying to help. But the rubric anger suppressed can become very, very important.
Look, I would just like to share one small case.
Go ahead.
this reverence, this respectful, the earnestness, this respect, the that veneration is there when the presentation, when sulfur speaks all about. And at another side, I'll share you a case. The patient was that irritable. I'm suffering from this, and he was also suffering from piles. Okay, and what happened was I just said, okay. I took the totality and I gave him one medicine, and I was very damn sure about the prescription. So I said, you do this, tomorrow morning will be fine. Don't worry. Tomorrow every time it doesn't happen like that. Okay. So tomorrow morning he was not at all fine, and he sat in front of me like this, and he was playing with the paperweight like this. He was in a very bad mood. So I said, tell me, how is it? He said, tomorrow it will be absolutely fine, but absolutely the pain is increased remarkably. Now, yesterday I could at least stand. Today I couldn't stand even. What should I do? So he was as if he's going to attack me. Okay. The gesture, the tone is very important. This is how we understand the man in the disease. The man in the disease, what? As if he's going to attack me. So I was said like, okay. And there is no table for protection in my clinic. There is no table in between. So I said, okay, cool down. Don't worry. It's a good sign. 2 days, as a homeopath, of course, I was very perfect, fixed upon my prescription. I said, no, this is homeopathic aggravation. I was very happy for it. Don't worry, 2 days, 2 to 3 days, it will aggravate, and then you'll be fine. He said like this. 2 days. Doctor, I'm able to just bear this pain for 2 hours, and you're talking about 2 days. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Take this warm water, what you say, fermentation, and you'll be fine. What does this patient said to me? Do you understand? This man in the disease, he said, 2 hours, 2 days you're talking about. You'll go home, have your lunch, and sleep coolly and calmly. Do you understand this significance of sleep? I will be just so much in agony, and you are telling me to bear it for 2 days. I just wanted you to suffer the same pain. And I want to understand whether you'll wait for 2 days or not. This was his. And I was like, I was not afraid. I was trying to understand the man in the disease. Okay. But at the same time, I was very, much awkward also at the same time. Shall I change the medicine? And I just opened my, I didn't give up. Never, homeopath should never ever give up. Okay. And I took one rubric. And what can be this beautiful remedy? Remedy is very famous for piles. It acts in the mucocutaneous junction also. All mucocutaneous junction. This is fine. The splinter-like pain was there. And this remedy is nitric acid. This acid, this corrosiveness, as if he would have burned me alive with his words. We have a rubric, cursing and blasphemy. Now, I was wondering, when I used to read Allen's keynotes or Materia Medica's blasphemy, I used to wonder how a person who blasphemy, and I could find it out. I could understand that this cursing, feeling of this person, then and there in my clinic, and I got this remedy, nitric acid. If at all you have any person like this, please give him a dose of nitric acid, because we have rubric. Means, see, we don't just shoot in the air. We have absolutely proof. We have a rubric, reproaching. Please, can you please put this rubric, reproaches others, doctors. And the sub rubric should be reproaching the doctors. How so beautiful it is proved. So beautiful it is. But the worst thing is, we are not able to explore the mindset of the repertory. And here we are here to understand the mind section of the man in the disease with the help of exploring the mind section of the repertory, which is really, really interesting as well as wonderful. Alok,
Yes,
please.
So I think we are we are almost going to we can. I think we are short of time. In next 2 minutes we are going to wrap it up because it has to continue. अभी तो महफिल चालू हुई है. It has
There is a
started.
question.
What is the question?
The question is why Dr. Mayur doesn't have a table in between the physician and the patient. See, this is the teachings of my master, Dr. Milind Rao. He used to tell us, when there is a patient in front of you, if a table is in between you and the patient, there becomes a big, a big barrier in between. When just try it once, take a case without a table and see the beauty. Because so many students ask me, sir, whenever I took the case, he didn't say anything about this part of his life or this part of his life space. But when you ask the question, he was just vomiting everything out. How come? So the way of asking the question is very important, and this no bar in between, no barrier in between is very important. As if he's sitting and we are just coffee with current. You have seen this episode of Coffee with Current. There is no bar. Whatever you just speak out your heart out, that is the way. You also try, but my dear friends, please don't do it the very next day. Just wind it up. Okay, so
whenever.
What was the mode of dosage to the
Acha, mode of
Dosage.
mode of the dosage. Acha. See, the nurse who was handling the case was very sensitive. She really felt very much, her conscience was very strong. She couldn't see this person suffering, and the whole family was just pouring in their properties, selling their properties, and just giving this treatment to this patient because the person was 24 years. So the sister helped us out. Whenever she used to wash off this mouth, that time the best thing is to put 2 pills, 2 drops of this liquid, and give 2 drops of water so that the medicine gets dissolved, and just 1 drop of this medicine sublingually or in between this lips, the lips and the teeth. You just have to put 1 drop here, because we never know the sensitivity of the person's uh, mucosa, because 100% everyone knows that this area of sensitivity of every person also changes from one person to another. So better you put those 1 drop here, 1 drop here, 1 drop or here, 1 drop here. So potency I had already told, first was 6, then 3, then 200. So Alok, it was a nice
It was a nice. I'd like to add something in case taking that is very, very important. Please don't be formal with the patient. What happens that when we are formal, okay, headache, okay, what else, what else? So when you are formal, you are not giving the energy to the patient that he should speak with you openly. If the patient is laughing with you, you also laugh with him. If he discusses private problems of the family, you also get involved with that. Okay, then what happened? Acha, aisa, unhone, he spoke like this, he shouldn't have done that. So when you get familiar with the patient, when you get friendly with the patient, then he opens up. Rao sir, our master Dr. Milind Rao sir, he even used to hold the hand of the patient, give his healing ability or healing touch, his energy, and patient, just by touching, he used to start crying. And when a person starts crying, that means he has become yours now. I will start telling everything.
Of course.
Then the man will come out in front of you. Yes. And that will become basis of your prescription, and that will remain the essence of this lecture series, the cases, the presentations for the next 5 days, along with many.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and we will come in front of you.
Acha, one small message about this wonderful series. First, as ever I tell you, start loving yourself. First, start love yourself. Start loving your pathy. Start loving your life. and everything will fall in place. I believe these three lines. Start loving yourself, start loving your pathy, loving your science, and see the everything will fall in place. So tomorrow, same time, same
One more thing,
place.
start loving your patients also, but
Of
not of the
course,
same age, that can become controversial. But love means
sensitivity.
the sensitivity, you have the desire to cure him.
So tomorrow I'm coming up with a new remedy, also already done. Coming up with a new the how to understand and explore the remedy. Now we had seen sulfur, platina, and so many remedies together. Tomorrow, I would be taking a remedy, a whole remedy with its whole extent. How does this whole journey of a remedy begins? How to understand the remedy? How to understand the ow of Michael Jackson? How to understand the feel of the remedy?
Tomorrow I'll be presenting a few more tips for case taking and the COVID-19 cases, collateral damage done by COVID-19. So that will be very interesting, and a few more cases. I hope we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll have fun together. Grow in homeopathy, all of us together. See you. Jai
See
Hind.
you. Good
Thank you
night.
so much,
Namaskar.
sir.
Love life.
Good
Life
night.
is beautiful.
Hail homeopathy.
Hail homeopathy.
Thank
Hail
you.
homeopathy.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the audience who have been so patiently listening, and thank you for such a fantastic session, sir.
Hello, Manish.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. We'll just wind up. It's okay. Just
Okay.
thanking note. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hope everyone loved it.
Yes, sir. Everybody enjoyed it so much. We had a full house of 1,200 plus people. So
Very good.
yes, it was a great session. Thank you so much for a fantastic session. I too enjoyed it so much.
Very good.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Hello. Bye. Take care. Let's meet tomorrow in 6 o'clock, right?
Sure, sir. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock. You
Yeah.
will receive. I just wanted to update the audience that you will receive another link tomorrow on your mails. Who all have registered. So you will be receiving another link, and so that you can log in through that link. If you face any issue, you can mail me at webinar@homeopathy360.com. Thank you so much, everyone.
Right.